Quinnipiac men's and women's soccer were in action this past week as the women's team entered MAC play.
The field hockey team got started in the Big East, and the volleyball team was on a 2-game road trip in Western New York.
And the men's and women's hockey teams prepared to hit the ice. All this and more. Sports Bar starts right now.
It's another Monday night, so it's time for Sports Paws. I'm Paul Saracusa.
And I'm Matt Mugno. Let's kick it off with some soccer. Sacred Heart traversed and visited 30 minutes up the Merritt to take on Quinnipiac in Hamden. Check it out. The Quinnipiac men's soccer team was back in action on Wednesday evening against in-state rival Sacred Heart. The Bobcats were on the prowl, searching for their third straight win. Let's jump right into it. Tomas Ficula finds David Bercedo outside the box. Bercedo then dances around a Pioneer defender before firing a shot past the Sacred Heart keeper for a 1-0 lead. Just 2 minutes later, Quinnipiac attacking as Ficula finds Bercedo again, but instead of shooting, he sends it over to Sternegard in the middle of the box, who sends it in to an unguarded Pioneer goal for the 2-0 advantage. Now to the second half. Alex Halle catches the Sacred Heart defense sleeping and makes it 3-0 Quinnipiac. The goalkeeper looked like he was really sleeping there. Now in the 71st minute, the Bercedo-Ficula connection almost at it again, but Budai is fouled in the box and a penalty kick is the result. Ficula doesn't waste the opportunity to give Quinnipiac a 4-0 lead. What a snipe. Bottom corners. Ficula adds to his total of the day with 2 assists. 3 minutes later, you guessed it, Quinnipiac again. Magnus Reistad received the ball inside looking for Ole Friestad, who had an easy finish. Quinnipiac would cruise out from there as they have won 3 straight and are unbeaten in their last 5. The Bobcats travel to Massachusetts to play Harvard on Saturday. For a more in-depth look at the men's soccer team, Dylan and Zach have us covered for tonight's rebound. Let's take a look.
Quinnipiac men's soccer defeated in-state rival Sacred Heart today 5-0. I'm Zach Hochberg alongside Dylan Summer. This is the rebound. Dylan, like I said, 5 goals, 5 different Bobcats on the stat sheet for Quinnipiac. What was the difference today between what we saw on Saturday against Central Connecticut State?
The difference is what you just mentioned. They distributed the ball all around. Sterngard, Bercedo, Hawley. They got the ball all around all day long, and they had so many opportunities on the offensive end because of that. And it also helped that their defense shut them down. The Sacred Heart attack all day long could not get anything past them.
Right, and Carl Netzel got a clean sheet today for the Bobcats. What did the defense do to not only make him comfortable in net, but also keep the clean sheet?
I think it really helped that they got an early lead in this game. And then from there on out, it was the defense that just shut the opposing attack down. Jared Smith, João Pinto, to name a few. And that made Carl Netzel's job very easy, only having to make a couple of saves in the contest overall.
Right, and Quinnipiac now travels to take on Harvard on Saturday. What are some key points that you're going to look for in Saturday's game?
I'm looking for the same from this game. Consistency, getting the ball around, and being stout on the defensive end. If they could get all those 3 elements every single week, every single game, then they're going to be in a really good spot.
Like we just mentioned, Quinnipiac will be back in action on Saturday against Harvard. This is Dylan Summer. I'm Zach Hochberg. This was The Rebound, Q30 Sports.
Over the weekend, the Bobcats traversed to Cambridge, Massachusetts to do battle with the Harvard Crimson. Let's see how they fared. Harvard's Martin Visan potted a goal at the 11-minute mark to take an early lead against the Bobcats, who struggled to capitalize on a plethora of opportunities in the first half. Visan scored his second of the game 43 minutes later, and Alejandro Guatierrez put the dagger in at the 74-minute mark. Sam McCann scored in the 82nd minute of play, and Tomas Ficula led the Bobcats with 8 shots. Despite dropping a game against the Crimson, they will have a chance to regain momentum against the Stony Hill Skyhawks this Wednesday. After the big performances this week from the Bobcats, the men's soccer team won 2 weekly awards. Thomas Ficula was named MAC Offensive Player of the Week, and Alex Sternegard was named MAC Rookie of the Week. Ficula recorded a goal and 2 assists throughout the week. The senior also scored 3 goals and 3 assists throughout the season thus far. Sternegard scored a goal and 2 assists in the win versus Sacred Heart. He is up to a team best 4 assists for the season. With another week of men's soccer in the books, let's see where they stand in the MAC. The Bobcats currently sit in third place in the MAC with an overall record of 4-2-1. Siena takes the top spot with a 4-1-1 record, followed by Marist with a 3-1-1 record. The Mount, St. Mary's, and Fairfield are currently tied for fourth with a 4-3 record. Quinnipiac is looking to make it back to the MAC playoffs this season.
The women's soccer team competed against the Niagara Purple Eagles in their first MAC game of the season. Let's roll the tape. This Saturday, the Quinnipiac Bobcats faced off against Niagara University Purple Eagles on QU's Senior Day celebration. We are going to jump right into the second half. The first half remained scoreless the entire 45 minutes. 3 minutes into the second half, Courtney Chokol was able to score after receiving a penalty. Chokol was knocked to the ground, got back up, made the goal, giving the Bobcats the 1-0 lead. Up next, Ella Gagno was able to score, assisted by Rebecca Cook and Courtney Chokol. Cook and Chokol went for the goal, but Ella was the one to make it, giving the Bobcats the 2-0 lead. Later on in the second half, Rebecca Cook sent a beautiful assist to Chokol, allowing her to score again, this goal giving the Bobcats the 3-0 lead. Just over a minute later, the Bobcats scored again with an electric goal from Rebecca Cook, her 9th goal of the season. After the game, Ben Kane caught up with Malaya de Rosario, a senior who has been waiting for her moment in the spotlight for 4 years.
4 years, multiple injuries, and thousands of minutes on the sideline, all made worth it for a moment like this. 81 minutes and 55 seconds into the Senior Day celebrations, off come Lauren Triglione, and on steps for her collegiate debut, Malia de Rosario, and just listen to that ovation.
I've been out for 4 years. I had 4 knee surgeries on the same knee. So I never expected to be able to play again, but just having that moment and then the coach calling my name, it's senior day, my family's here, the crowd's as big as it can be, and it's just a great feeling just having to step on the field again, whether 1 minute or 10 minutes, it's a great feeling.
Not only was this a special moment for Malia, but her father as well. He'd seen his daughter put in countless hours in the gym and on the field, and finally he can see that all the work she did paid off.
It was a big roller coaster ride, for sure. It had its better moments, but you can never say good moments at those times, right, when you're limited. But right now where we're at, it's just joy now. That's all that matters right now, right? You forget the past a little bit, right?
Like any roller coaster, there's highs, there's lows, and there's one thing that keeps you grounded, keeps you in check, and makes sure you're safe. And that's the seatbelt. And for De Rosario, her seatbelt was her teammates that encouraged her the whole way through.
She lives with 3 of them, and they all treat her so well. They're so encouraging. Her entire team, she tells me all the time, you heard the chant when she came on the field today. They're so good to her, and I think throughout the entire process, they kind of pushed her to be on the field more because she wants to play with them. They're all her really good friends. So it's great to see, and I think the coaching as well, her being able to go on this journey and have them support her meant a lot to her and obviously our family too.
Rehabbing twice a day, every single day of the week, De Rosario didn't just garner the coach's support, but respect.
For her, at least with her parents here, she can walk away. I got on the field, so I give her a lot of credit. Her rehab, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do what she's done for 4 years, to rehab every day, twice a day for 4 years, and not see the field. So that 5 minutes will stand for her. So I'll give her a lot of credit.
With her first collegiate minutes officially under her belt, number 8 can walk out of the stadium with her head held high. From Q30 Sports, I'm Ben Kane.
Thanks, Ben. The women's soccer team's victory was enough for Courtney Chokol to bring home a MAC Weekly Award. Chokol was awarded the MAC Offensive Player of the Week due to her stellar showing against Niagara on Saturday. Chokol recorded 2 goals and an assist in the contest. She now has 4 goals and 5 assists this season, which ranks second on the team. Chokol has now won 2 offensive MAC Player of the Week awards. Chokol has been extremely consistent this season, having tallied a point in 6 of Quinnipiac's 7 games. The Bobcats continue their season on Saturday at Quiniescas. Let's check to see how the Bobcats compare to the rest of the teams in the MAC so far. Since the reigning champion Monmouth Hawks are no longer in the MAC, the Bobcats are at the top of the standings with a 5-1-1 overall record, followed by Fairfield, who is 6-2 due to their strong 4-0 record at home. Iona and Marist slot in at 3-4, with Canisius coming in at 5 and rising quickly. Towards the bottom is newly added Mount St. Mary's, who is tied for 6, along with Manhattan and Ryder, who are all trying to improve once conference play rolls around. When we come back, we take a look at the Quinnipiac field hockey and volleyball.
The latest results and highlights coming up right after this break.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's put a ride home.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction
And response time, which can be really dangerous.
It's here. It's here.
Wait. What?
I can't drive.
What? My. Oh.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. Paul and I have plenty more on all things Bobcat sports. The Bobcats entered the weekend with one of the hottest starts in program history with a 3-2 record heading into their match against Temple. Within the first 30 minutes of play, the Bobcats scored 3 goals. The first, a penalty stroke by Michaela Grahiles, Lucia Pompeo scored, as well as Eva Volderhorst, who scored following a stoppage of play. A shot that hit the right post, off the Temple keeper, and in the net. Unfortunately, the wheels fell off as the Bobcats surrendered 6 consecutive goals to the Owls and ended up losing 6-3, falling to 3-3 on the year.
Field hockey beat reporter Clever Streich talked about the latest news in the Big East and his stock watch on the Quinnipiac squad.
The Bobcats kicked off Big East Conference play yesterday against the Temple Owls. Let's find out what happened in Episode 2 of The Penalty Corner. The Bobcats taking on the Temple Owls in Philadelphia yesterday. Quinnipiac had a very promising start, going up 3-0 at the half. Quinnipiac could not hold on to that lead as they ended up falling 6-3, allowing 6 unanswered goals to the Owls. The Bobcats could not simply hold on for long enough, and for a second straight year, they end up falling to the Temple Owls in Big East play. Let's take a look at the other games around the conference. The Bobcats, not the only team to go 0-1. Another team going 0-1, Old Dominion, a double overtime winner for Aya Young from the UConn Huskies. These two top teams in the conference facing off on day one. UConn coming out of that one 2-1. Providence wins against Villanova. Providence struggled at the beginning of the year. Huge win for them against the Wildcats. And finally, the Liberty Flames blowing out the Georgetown Hoyas. They absolutely torched them by the score of 10-0. So finally, we have the F-Hawk Stock Watch, our last segment of this episode. Eva Veldhorst, one of the 2 players I've selected for the Trending Up category. She's had 5 points in her last 5 games. She's been incredible so far for the Bobcats, the senior making her return after 2 seasons off due to COVID. Lucia Pompeo has a 3-game point streak of her own building, the sophomore, really finding her offensive footing with Quinnipiac this year. The trending down category might surprise you a little bit. Amelia Massarelli being here. She's had 1 goal in 6 games. The second team All-Big East selection last year has had a slow start to her sophomore year, but I do think that she's going to rebound really quickly. She's one of the best players the Bobcats have had. She's a dynamic offensive player. She is a superstar. I do think that she will be out of this category sooner rather than later. And then Juliana Capello, co-captain of the team, has 1 shot on goal through 6 games played. So in the up, Veldhorst and Pompeo. In the down, Massarelli and Capello. This could shift very quickly, though. We'll see next time on the penalty corner. That is all for this episode. For Q30 Sports, I'm Clever Streich.
Earlier today, the Bobcats faced off against the UC Davis Aggies. Let's roll the tape. Quinnipiac Field Hockey played UC Davis on this morning. The Bobcats trying to rebound from a big East loss to Temple last Friday. If QU wins, they will bring their record back above 500. Let's get into the first quarter. The Bobcats had a lot of penalty corner chances early, drawing 8 in quarter 1 alone. Check out the great goaltending from Sarah Lopez and the UC Davis DPC effort, keeping the game scoreless. The Bobcats finally strike on a penalty in the second quarter on a stroke from Michaela Grahiles, beating Lopez right side. Remember QU's numerous corner attempts? Well, it only takes 1 for UC Davis to tie the game. Grace Austin converting to tie things up at the half. In the fourth quarter, Amelia Mazzarelli almost finds Pater but hits the post. The rebound is sent in by Rachel Papernick, her first of the year. QU wants to add some insurance on the penalty corner. Eva Volhorst feeds Stella Titmeyer, who deflects the ball in. UC Davis would score late, but the Bobcats hold on for a 3-2 victory. The field hockey squad has started their season sizzling hot with one of their best starts in program history. Let's see where this start puts them in the Big East. Becca Main's squad currently sits in 7th place in the Big East with a 4-3 record. Already more wins than they had last season. However, they are 0-1 in conference play. They look to start another W train this weekend as they take on Towson and the number 14 ranked team in the country, the Old Dominion Monarchs.
Moving on to the court, the Quinnipiac volleyball team looked to get out of their struggles in Niagara over the weekend against the Purple Eagles. The Bobcats ended up falling to the Purple Eagles by a score of 3-1. Quinnipiac started off strong, winning the first set 25-16, thanks to key kills from Ariana Diaz and Alexandra Tenin. The Bobcats kept it close during the remaining sets, but a lack of blocking prowess and 10 attack errors down the stretch was their downfall, which tied for their season high. After the Niagara loss, the Bobcats looked to salvage their weekend against the Canisius Golden Griffins. Following a poor showing in the first set, Quinnipiac was able to find a way to win the next 2 sets, 25-20, due to freshman Damla Ganesh's 55 assist showing before dropping the last 2 sets. During the 4th set, Quinnipiac almost completed the comeback, but came up just short in the end. The match resulted in another tough loss for the Bobcats, as the team statistics were nearly identical in kills, digs, assists, and blocks. Quinnipiac will look to break their losing streak against Siena next Saturday in Loudounville.
Let's take a look at where the volleyball team currently places in the MAC. The Bobcats are currently looking up in the standings as they sit 9th in the MAC with a 1-8 overall record. Fairfield and Marist take the throne at 1st and 2nd respectively with an 8-5 and 6-6 record. Now we head over to the Piazza where Gage Kilborn has the latest on the Digs and Spikes.
Thank you guys, and we got to say volleyball has been struggling as of late, so I'm going to get into my top 3 teams to watch in the MAC overall. So starting off with team number 3, it is no other than the team from Poughkeepsie, New York, the Marist Red Foxes. Marist coming in. Last season they finished 3rd in the regular season, but had their season cut short due to Quinnipiac taking them down 3-2 in the quarterfinals. However, this year this team is looking for revenge as they have Jordan Newblatt back as a junior. Last season she had 384 kills in just 28 games played. This year, she already has 122 kills in 12 games. So already off to a hot start for Marist, and they're hoping to turn it around into the W. Now coming on to my second team. This team may come as a shock to a few of you volleyball fans. They were picked to finish sixth in the preseason poll in MAC play, but I have them finishing second, and that is a team from New Rochelle, the Iona Gales. And this is probably a big surprise to a lot of you, and the main reason why I have the Gales going up this high is because they throw a lot of the expectations out the window. If you look at their schedule so far, non-conference play, they played against some tough opponents such as Georgia out of the SEC, Providence, and even Harvard. And they played them very well. They made sure the sets were close, and they kept it close. And it's those type of games that really keep you going and that really help you going forward. And now we get into number one, and this number one team is probably no shock to anybody. This is the team this is the reason why you have a number one, have this list, and that is Fairfield. The Fairfield Stags come in as number one because you have KJ Johnson back. The powerful arm from Baylor transfer coming in for her second year, dominated the MAC last year as she helped dominate Fairfield to winning their 7th MAC championship in the last 10 seasons. So talk about dominance. I don't think any team in this conference can match up to the performance level that the Fairfield Stags have done over the past 10 plus seasons. And to name a few more stats, they have the Rookie of the Year back for another season from Fairfield. And that is all that I have here for the top three teams in volleyball. I'll take it back to Mugno and Paul at the desk.
Thanks as always for the insight, Gage. We have to step out for a final break.
When we return, Quinnipiac rugby and ice hockey news, the latest national rankings in just 2 minutes.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Jules, spot me on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing. After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Thank you for sticking with us on Sports Paws. Let's move over to the rugby field. The Bobcats welcomed the Army Black Knights on Saturday. Let's see how they fared. The Quinnipiac rugby team hosted Army in Hamden this weekend. Army is coming in having won their previous 2 games by a combined score of 149-7. So can the Bobcats pull off the upset? We'll jump straight into the action. First half of play, Army already up 7-0, but the Bobcats fight back. On the doorstep of the try line, Libby Moser is able to power through for the try, and the ensuing conversion is good, tying the game up at 7. Second half of play saw a lot more scoring. First, it's QU's Kat Story blowing past everyone for the try. Then it'll be Hannah Furch fighting her way through for the try. Bobcats now up 19-10. To no one's surprise, Army did not give up. First, it's Cecilia Olis powering her way through for the try to cut the Bobcat lead to 2. Then it's Sydney Schaff scoring what would go on to be the game-winning try. Army completes the comeback and wins by a final score of 24-19. Earlier this morning, the preseason national poll came out for the collegiate men's ice hockey. Let's see where Quinnipiac ranked. The Bobcats were predicted to finish 7th overall. Quinnipiac finished the 21-22 campaign with a 32-7-3 overall record, going 17-4-1 in EC/AC play. As for the top 5, Denver came in at first with 37 first-place votes and 974 points, followed by Minnesota with 8 first-place votes and 914 points, and Minnesota with 3 first-place votes and 826 points. Finishing out the top 5 are North Dakota and Minnesota Duluth. Coming in at 6th and 8th were Michigan and Northeastern.
Where does the first ECAC poll of the season place the women's ice hockey team? Let's see the results. The Bobcats are viewed as a top competitor in the nation for the upcoming season, as the USA Hockey poll ranked the team 8th on the listing. Ohio State, who defeated Quinnipiac in the 2022 NCAA Women's Ice Hockey Tournament, ranks number 1, and rival Yale ranks 6th. The Bobcats open against Maine on September 23rd and September 24th on a 2-game opening stint. The women's ice hockey team named their leadership group for the 2022-2023 campaign. Cass Turner has named Lexi Agia, Zoe Boyd as the program's co-captains, with Sadie Peart serving as an assistant captain. And Agia was the 2022 Student Athlete of the Year and played in all 39 games last season and ranked 4th nationally in the face-off circle with 526 face-off wins. Boyd registered 10 assists and 41 block shots last season. Sadie Peart looks to build off a career-high 33-point year, consistently producing double digits in goals and points through her first 3 seasons. The Bobcats had their first action this past weekend, traveling to Storrs, Connecticut to take on the Yukon Huskies in an exhibition. After a scoreless first period, Nina Steigoff tallied the first goal of the season, assisted by Jess Shriver, that stood as the lone goal in the second period. In the third period, Amy Laundrie scored to knot the match up on an unassisted effort. Let's start off with play. We're shifting now to our top 5. Mistake, my apologies. Let's start with play number 5. Senior David Bercedo gets by 2 defenders and connects with the goal in the top left corner.
Now on to play number 4. Junior Rebecca Cook gets the ball close to the goalkeeper and passes it over to the defenders, and junior Courtney Chokol finishes it with the header, giving it to her second goal of that game.
We move to the play number 3. We have a series of passes from Rebecca Cook to Courtney Chokol, who takes a shot, misses, and sophomore Ella Gagno gets a rebound and connects with the goal. Let's watch a replay as Chokol just misses, but Gagno is at the right spot to score.
Now to play number 2 with some field hockey. Sophomore Amelia Mazzarelli gets by multiple defenders, tries to shoot and misses. Then senior Rachel Papernick gets the rebound and connects. As we see the replay, Mazzarelli starting and Papernick finishing, getting it past goalkeeper Sarah Lopez.
Finally, for play number 1, senior Eva Volhorst starts with passing to Amelia Mazzarelli, and she pokes it to the right to Stella Titmeyer, and she connects with the goal. As we check it out one last time, a beautiful pass to Titmeyer, and she does the right. She does the right, as that would be the deciding factor for the Bobcats against UC Davis.
Now we're going to see the upcoming games Quinnipiac has on their schedule. Men's soccer is going to rebound against the Stonehill Skyhawks on Wednesday. Field hockey is going to welcome the Old Dominion Monarchs to Hamden in hopes of continuing their winning ways on Friday. Rugby will travel to New Hampshire to face against Dartmouth on Saturday. And women's soccer is going to go against Canisius also on Saturday. We're out of time tonight. Thank you so much for watching.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter for more content at Q30 Sports and on our website, q30tv.com.
Also, check out the Q30 app, now available for download.
For Matt Mugno, I'm
Paul Siracusa. Thanks
Thank you
for
for
watching.
watching.